Right back tonight here on In Focus. Ahead of the presidential inauguration on Wednesday, let's take a look back at President Cyril Ramaphosa's first presidential speech in May 2019. On taking the oath 5 years ago with his Thuma Mina phrase, Ramaphosa offered a new era of renewal for the country. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan has more.
By 2018, President Jacob Zuma was steeping in corruption allegations.
I have therefore come to the decision to resign as President of the Republic with immediate effect.
Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa had to immediately take the reins.
I want to lend a hand. Send me.
And so the ANC sent him officially to the presidency in 2019.
I assume as President of the Republic of South Africa.
His inaugural speech promised a new era of hope and renewal.
Today must be seen as the choice of history. All South Africans want action. They just don't want words and promises. And there shall be action in our land.
But was there enough action?
He spoke of a new dawn. So we were hoping that he was going to do a fantastic cleanup operation. But what do we see? Nothing of the sort emerging.
On a scale from 1 to 10, I would say, a good 4. Because again, much more still needs to be done, especially in other areas such as, gender-based violence, members of the LGBTQI+, and also those young people who are living with disabilities.
At his inauguration, Ramaphosa specifically discussed violence against women. The gender-based violence pandemic would ultimately haunt his presidency.
Let us end the dominion that men claim over women. The denial of opportunity, the abuse and the violence, the neglect and the disregard for each other's human rights.
But crimes against women and children remain prevalent in South Africa.
Much as we commend the strides that have been made, particularly on the legal front in terms of the laws and policies, there is still there's still a lot that needs to be done because GBV still remains a major challenge in the country. Implementation of laws and policies is still lagging behind.
The then 66-year-old also nodded to improving young lives via economic development.
We must at the same time be a society that values its young people by creating a conducive environment for them to gain skills and be productively employed to develop our country.
But he had already inherited an ailing economy, allegedly rotten with state capture.
Lately, the situation in which we find ourselves is the one where your infrastructure is crumbling. It's one where your parastatals, if you like, state-owned enterprises, are not performing. There was a time when some of them performed so well. In fact, they were characterized as world-class. Eskom at one stage was described as the power company of the year by Financial Times. We were also rated above the sovereign by Moody's. But following that, things are unwinding, unraveling. GDP growth is less than 1% when our population growth is around 2%.
Yet there have been strides in the 6th administration, including, at its closure, the passing of critical bills to improve access to healthcare and tackle GBV and high-profile crime. So, as Ramaphosa enters his second tenure of leadership with his own baggage of controversy, there are still well-wishers for the 7th administration.
hoping that resources can be availed to really address GBV, because it's one thing to have the laws and the policies in place, but it's another to avail the resources that are going to ensure that the laws and policies are effectively implemented. And that's always been one of the challenges, that the resources are inadequate.
Much of this work we may not even see the fruits of, right? But we are confident that the generation that is really coming after us, of young people, will see or will yield the fruits of these trees that we are planting right now, in terms of, us collaborating with this GNU, especially around accountability.
One hopes that this time around, as he assumes the presidency for the second time, and he won't be, tempted to pander to anybody's whims, because he doesn't have to carry any favors. He just to do a good job.
Ramaphosa is set to take the oath on Wednesday in Tshwane. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Johannesburg.